Boom! All right, so we're continuing in this series of videos where we're dealing with the equation of a circle. In the last video, we would have taken the standard form of the equation of a circle, did some arithmetic to move from the standard to the general form, and then within the context of the general form, we did some more algebra to show that using the general form of the equation, we could find the center of the circle and we could find the radius of a circle. So now we want to travel in the opposite direction. We want to start with the general form of the equation of a circle and move back to the standard form. Again, doing some algebra just to demonstrate that it could move in both directions. So, here we are with an equation of a circle written in the standard form. So, what tools do we use to move from the standard form to the, from the general form to the standard form? When we had the standard form, we just expanded and we brought the like terms together and whatnot, and we got the general form. We end up with this. But if we started with this and we want to go back to the standard form, what do we do? Well, and this is where, this point is one of the points where your whole journey in AdMaths, you could start to question yourself a little bit. Because what we do to move from the general form of the equation of a circle to the standard form, we complete the square. All right? Now we're going to complete the square using the general equation, and then in the next video I will use, well, the next couple of videos, because I really believe I want to split that into 2 videos. I will use one particular example and move from standard to general, go back from general to standard, and do all the little algebra in between. So, pay attention to what I'm going to do now in a general sense. Just follow, all right? The Q's and the P's and the X's and the Y's may get a little overwhelming, but if you just follow what I'm going to do now, when I actually do an example with real figures, you will get a sense of things coming together a little more firmly, a little more concretely. The problem at this point, however, is that if your completing of the square is weak, you will inevitably have problems moving from general to standard. So this is really an opportunity for you, the students, to take stock of your situation. And if you know that you have a weakness in completing the square, which is the case for a lot of students, then you know you how to fix that. Because if you can't complete the square and you find yourself in a situation where you have, for whatever reason, you have to move from general to standard, you're going to have a problem. All right? So, but of course, in my mathematics platform, you know that we have a whole set of videos on completing the square too. We have, and well, I have it in the AdMaths as well too, because completing the square is in fact one of the topics in section 1 of the AdMaths syllabus. So it is there on the AdMaths platform as well. We have 12 videos on completing the square. We're taking it from ABC, step 1 coming up the road. And then I would have had 2 extra videos where we just went general and we just kind of demonstrate a couple things. But the first 12 videos, those are the videos that you need to pay attention to. And you need to look at the questions that go along with those videos to kind of bring yourself up to the level where you could complete the square as a general algebra topic. So, boom, let me start. So the first thing we do here is to bring all the x's together and all the y's together. All right? So what we have would be, you have x squared plus y squared. So what we do, we say that that is equal to x squared minus 2px. Right? We're looking for the x. Now the p is concerning the x. All right? So that will be plus p squared. And then we do the same thing with the y. And we say that plus y squared minus 2qy plus q squared All right? And then we have minus r squared is equal to 0. So here you have in x, you have one expression in x, and then you have another expression in y. So we complete the square separately on both of these equations, and then we will do all the algebra together. Now, we already know that this is x minus p in brackets of b squared. But let us say, for the sake of argument, for the sake of explanation, that we didn't know that. So we complete the square as we would do generally. And again, I'm not going to explain how to complete the square in this video. It have 12 videos in the AdMaths and in the maths platforms where you could go and check that out. So I just doing it here now. So the next step would be to say what? Boom. X, well, the coefficient of x squared is 1, so we can start to complete the square one time. So that will be x minus half the coefficient of this is p, all to b squared, minus p squared plus p squared. All right? Again, I'm not doing too much explanation here. Right? So we fixed that already. Plus, you do the same thing here. Y minus half the coefficient of y, which will be q, all to b squared, minus q squared plus q squared, and then your minus r squared is equal to 0. Yeah? You see it's starting to take shape already. Minus p squared plus p squared is 0. So this would be x minus p in brackets all to b squared. Minus q squared plus q squared is also 0. So you'll get plus y minus q all to b squared. Right? And then you have minus r squared is equal to 0. And of course, all you need to do now is take the minus r squared and put it across here. So you'll now have x minus p in brackets squared plus y minus q in brackets squared is equal to r squared, where r is the radius, p is the x coordinate of the center, and q is the y coordinate of the center. And that is what it is. But I would say again, your ability to move from here to here and from here to here is entirely contingent upon you being able to complete the square proficiently. And that is something that you have to bear in mind. This is not something you could guess your way through. You really had to be able to do it. So if you're really not too sure about completing the square, I would advise you very humbly to go back if you have to. Do the little work that you need to do, or do the plenty work if that is the case, and then you come back here and then you move forward. So this video was actually shorter than the other one, because in the other video we moved from the simpler form to the more complicated form, which meant that we had to go through all the different levels of algebra. In this video, we move from the more complicated form, which is the general form, to the more straightforward and simple form. And that's basically it. This is basically it. All right? So, I can end this video here. And in the next video, we're going to make everything that we would have done up to this point concrete. And we will do so by using an actual example to demonstrate how the figures work themselves within the context of the generalized form of the standard form and the general form of the equation of a circle. Did I see the equation of a straight line not too long ago in the video at some point? Anyway, if that was the case, I apologize humbly. I kind of running stuff back in my head, and somehow I feel I said that. I know I said it earlier on and I caught it, but it may have slipped again and I didn't catch it. So if I did, by now you know is the equation of a circle we're talking about and not the equation of a straight line. However, there are questions where we have to deal with the interaction between a circle and a straight line. We will deal with that at another time. For now, we're building the foundation. We're building the platform that will allow you to understand what the equation of a circle is, which will then put you in a position to be able to use it. So, we wrap up this video now. So as always, take care, keep good, and look out for the next video where we actually do a concrete example using actual figures.